everyone in the audience. Hello.
Hi.
A lot of smiling faces. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paradise Valley Community College. We want to take this chance to welcome you to new student orientation and let you guys know how happy we are that you decided to spend this night with us to kickstart your future here in Paradise. My name is Brittnie-Ann. I graduated high school way back in 2015. This is my second semester here in Paradise Valley, where I am pursuing my associates in English literature.
My name's Hannah. I was homeschooled before coming to PVCC to earn my associates in arts, and now I've come back to get my bachelor's in accounting. Thank you.
You can find both of us and Harvey, one of our panelists tonight, in the Student Life and Leadership Department, where we work with the entirety of our team to help bring students a richer college experience outside of classes.
Something especially exciting about tonight's orientation is that you all get to be involved with our new podcast. Currently, we're doing a live recording of the third episode of our official Student Life podcast, Pause for a Moment with Student Life, where we go over topics that are helpful for like college tips, club events, and much more going on during the semester. This podcast is created for you guys, by students, for students, to help navigate campus life. So check it out on Spotify and YouTube.
Tonight, we have some wonderful panelists who would like to share with you some of their college insights. Panelists, would you mind introducing yourselves?
Right. Hello, guys. My name is Kim. I am a third-year student here at Paradise Valley Community College. I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's in accounting right here at PVCC. I know, exciting! I am a supplemental instruction leader over at the Puma Tutoring Center for Accounting 111, and I'm also the founder and president of the Accounting Club. So if you guys ever need my help with accounting, you know where to find me.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
Hi, my name is Harvey O'Grady. I am a third-year biological sciences major here at PVCC. I work in the Office of Student Life and Leadership. I am the student senator for PVCC, which means I represent us on the district level. I have also founded and currently run the PVCC Occult Club on campus.
Yay. Thank you, Harvey.
Thank you.
Now,
Also, during our panel, we will have a section for student questions. So if you find that we don't answer some of your questions, you will have a chance to ask them. So think about those questions, okay?
our first question tonight is for Kim. Kim, what advice would you give yourself as a new student?
All right, thank you. So the advice that I would give myself as a new student is very different from the advice you've probably heard from your family and your friends. They'll tell you, hey, make friends, join clubs, do well in your classes. But my advice would be, it's okay to not be okay. When you get here, you're coming from high school into an environment that is very fast-paced. You learn stuff in a much shorter amount of time, and you're going to feel lost. And that's okay. It took me 3 semesters to finally feel comfortable. I came here from high school thinking it would be all good, and when it wasn't, I felt panicked. I failed my first test, and I felt just like, wow, Kim, you could have done so much better. It'll take time for you to find your pace. Eventually, I figured out what worked for me, how to study, how to just be a student again without feeling so overwhelmed with where I was. And you will too, so be patient. You'll be okay.
Thank you, Kim. And what was one moment when you started feeling more confident and that you could give yourself more grace?
Like I had mentioned, it was during my 3rd semester here. I was taking classes that were for my major, and I finally felt like everything was clicking into place after, taking all of my general ed classes. I was like, okay, I feel better, I know the people now, and I love what I'm doing.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
Our next question is for Harvey. How has participating in campus activities enhanced your personal growth?
Thank you for the question, Hannah. As you could tell from my intro, I'm very involved on campus, but that wasn't always the case. I started in your seats 2 years ago, which is crazy, at the Spring 2024 NSO. And it was very, very daunting at first. PVCC wasn't my original choice. I had just come here from a different college. And through that, I was very nervous, and I didn't really talk to people on campus. I just kind of, went to my classes, and I went home, and I took my naps, and I came back, and I went to other classes. I didn't interact with many people at all. But then through, taking my classes, I decided to stay another semester and then join the Pride Club, where I was introduced to all of the amazing staff over at the Office of Student Life. And I decided to start and found the Occult Club on campus. And through starting the Occult Club, it led me to such an interconnected campus. All the clubs know each other. We're all very collaborative. There's so many different campus events. I can guarantee you there's at least one campus event going on per week this semester. I would know because I saw the calendar. And it's such a thriving environment to where there's opportunities for internships. There's opportunities to, run and be a part of NSO or be a part of other events, with Accounting Society or Occult Club or STEAM Club. There's just a vast majority of interconnectedness, and there's always going to be a place for you, whether it's, somewhere in staff or somewhere in your classes or somewhere in a club.
Thank you. And what campus activity is your favorite?
That's a great question. It's very hard to choose between all the different campus activities, but I would have to say working in student life is my favorite, and I'm not just saying that because my boss is in the audience, but it's truly impactful to be behind the scenes of it all and recognizing all the work that goes into these different events and getting to see new students and talk to them and recognize that they look to you for advice and they want to know what's PVCC all about and what happens when you go to college, because we all have this predisposition that college is going to be something completely different from high school. And I feel like PVCC bridges that gap very well, where you still have chances to mess up and make mistakes, but also there's such a vast majority of people who go here that you always get perspectives from different people who have different backgrounds.
Thank you for your insightful answer. Back to you, Kim. Our second question. In what ways has having a faculty mentor helped you succeed in your classes and grow as a student?
Okay, so coming straight from high school, as I did, I heard the famous, "This is not going to fly in college. Your college professor won't care about you." So, silly little 18-year-old me came onto campus, and I did not talk to any of my professors at all my first semester here. Didn't even want to look them in the eye. It wasn't until my second semester where I took my first accounting course, and I met the wonderful Professor Lynn Clark. Now, any of you business students, you guys are going to know her, and I'm really excited for that. But right off the bat, she just made her classroom just so inviting. She never made you feel like your questions were dumb, even though maybe sometimes they weren't the best. I would know. And she saw something that I could not see for myself, which was my potential. Sometime toward the end of the semester, she approached me and she was like, "Kim, you're really good at accounting. Would you be interested in being a supplemental instruction leader? You can help other students." And I was like, "Wow, that's such a good opportunity." No, I'm okay. So that's, she didn't push too much. And it wasn't until my third semester when I took more of her accounting courses that, we were doing notes. I remember this very vividly. We were doing notes, and I guess I answered a question that was really hard because she pauses, turns over and looks at me and says, "Kim, if you don't do accounting, I'm going to follow you for the rest of your life and beat you with a stick." Same day I met with my advisor and changed my career path. But no, she was awesome. And once again, she approached me and she said, "Kim, you would really do well as an SI leader." And I finally agreed. And any of you who will meet her, will know that eventually you will say yes to her. She's just that awesome and convincing. But no, it was thanks to her that I have the job that I have now, which I absolutely love. And it is thanks to her that I also am sitting up here and talking to you guys, being able to meet new people, meet new faces, being able to be part of, this is very important. NSO is so important. I'm so happy that I'm able to be here. And I also, through her, was able to find the confidence to start the Accounting Society. So, yeah, I really, really, really appreciate her. She helped me find my voice here.
Thank you, Kim. The question on everyone's mind is she still threatening you with the stick?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And how is it being an SI leader?
So being an SI leader is honestly one of the most fulfilling jobs I think anyone can really have. I love being with students. I love helping students, being able to teach them, which honestly, accounting 111 is so foundational to everything else you're going to learn in accounting. And it's just being part of that process and just talking to students is amazing. I still talk to former students. They'll message me on Instagram being like, Kim, I really need help with this. What do you think is the best outcome for this? Or I'm really nervous. I'm transferring. What is your advice? And it's just, again, so fulfilling, and I would not have it any other way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Our next question is for Harvey. What surprised you the most when starting school at PVCC?
That's a great question, Hannah. As I told you before, PVCC was not my first choice when it came to schools. I was planning on going to a four-year university out in Hawaii, but due to my financial situation, I just wasn't able to pursue that. So I came to PVCC with the intentions of only staying for a semester, completing a few of my core classes, and then transferring to a larger university to pursue my bachelor's. And after my first semester here, getting involved with the honors, Kim is also in honors, it's phenomenal, and getting involved a little bit more with my classes and realizing that it would be a lot cheaper if I took my classes here than at a four-year university. I decided to stay another semester and finish out a few more classes before transferring in the fall. And as you know, I got involved with clubs, and I just became more and more involved with campus, and it led me to so many different opportunities that I would have never even thought would have happened to me if I didn't stay here at PVCC. I always say to be seen is to be changed. And here at PVCC, the faculty, the staff, your peers, they don't just see you as a grade point, they see you as a person. And it's important to note that they will always foster growth, and they'll foster you to blossom in your environment. It's recommended that you change your major at least once to figure out where you're going in life. And that's definitely something that I did, and I know a lot of the people in the audience who have been in college before have done. And the advisors are amazing. They'll always make sure that you find a degree path that works best for your learning style, that works best for your career choice, and they make sure that you blossom and thrive in those environments.
And what was one moment that you felt seen and changed then?
That's a great question. I would have to say, I know the honors orientation was yesterday. By a show of hands, who went to honors or is actively enrolled in honors?
Oh,
I got one goober. Hello.
More
Two?
goobers.
Oh my gosh,
A lot of
there's so
goobers.
many. But I was taking an honors class. It was honors physical geology and geography, and studying rocks is a lot harder than it sounds. So I had the professor, JD, and I'm sure you'll see him across campus. He looks like a student. He's always wearing a tie-dye shirt and Crocs. I love him dearly. And I came up to him after handing in my final exam last semester and said, JD, I don't know if I'm going to graduate. I'm taking calculus and chemistry at the same time, and it's looking pretty rough. And I'm sure a lot of the STEM students will agree when you get to that level. And he looked at me and he said, I wouldn't worry about if you're going to graduate or not at all. I've seen your drive and I've seen your motivation, and yes, you may not pass your classes this semester, but when you take them again next semester, you'll be the smartest kid in the class. And that's always a plus when it comes to retaking classes, is you at least know a little bit more about what you're doing. And there's so many resources on campus that can help you get to where you need to be and make sure you graduate or make sure you pass your core classes so you can continue to thrive next semester.
Thank you, Harvey, for your thoughtful answer. All right, we will be now transitioning to our student questions. So if you have any questions, please go up to those mics located right there and right over there. We'd love to hear from you guys. All right, well, we have a question that usually is on people's minds. What's one way that you find time to do things? How do you schedule yourself?
Oh my God. Okay, so one of my greatest pieces of advice is get yourself a planner. And if you don't like planners, then write things down on your phone. It's so easy to just kind of have so much going on when you're in college, especially if you're involved, right? So it's good to keep track and kind of try to plan out your week as best you can. Make time for different things, and also remember to also make time for yourself and for your friends. When you're studying day and night. It's important to remember that you're still human. You can be an academic weapon, but you also want to still be yourself. So planner, write things down, plan out your week, and make time for yourself.
Thank you,
Thank
Kim.
you, Kim.
Another question that might be on new student minds: how do you make friends?
It is a great question. As somebody who's very, very introverted, and as I'm sure you could all see in the lobby, I don't like talking to people, but I will absolutely still talk to people. Something that helps get me out of my shell is just joining clubs. You know, you can sit in the corner, but you know, people will bound to come up to you. That's how Kim and I became friends. Is I sat in the corner during orientation leader training, and I didn't talk to anyone. But then Kim eventually got me out of my shell, and it's put me where I am today. So definitely talking to people, joining clubs. A lot of the people that are in your classes now are going to be in your classes throughout the rest of your degree path here at PVCC. So I recommend befriending your lab partner, you know, befriending that person that's say next to you in accounting or in music or, you know, in a group project with you, because you're gonna see them again. It's like a side character that you always see. You can't ever get rid of them. But we love them dearly, and they'll be there from your first classes up until you transfer or you graduate.
Thank you, Harvey. And thank you so much to our panelists. Can we please have a round of applause for our wonderful